everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're doing a lot of these recordings, and of course, I have Darwin Porter, who is my special guest. Darwin and I have been on the radio for so many years. We met together many years ago in New York City, and he has been the love of my life, other than my wonderful husband, who is no longer here in the apartment. He's out there somewhere flying around, but Darwin and his partner, Danforth Prince, are so special in my life. And I love when they take the time, they're very busy, but they take the time to talk to all of you about esoteric, unusual things. And so I'm going to let you have the rest of the talk here, Darwin. What are we talking about today?
Well, first, I want to congratulate you and everybody listening for surviving 2020. To borrow a line from FDR, it will be a year that will live in infamy. In fact, people right now are writing books called, well, they all have to change the title, called 2020 to tell the story. And we have more fun on the way, but let's all hope that we can manage and stay together and survive for the coming year, which will have more challenges than I can imagine. Yet on the last show, you and I left a hint that we've heard all the talks, 24 hours on the virus, so that we might mention a hit Netflix called The Crown and talk something about Prince Charles. And
okay.
I think I've told you before that I am a Buckingham Palace watcher, and I have been since I arrived in England when I was 20 years old. And in my heyday, I did 5 different books on the British Isles, you know, London, Scotland, Wales, a book called Great Britain. I covered all the fronts, and I have been following the royal family since, well, I started studying history in school, but I mean, actually, I started studying the personalities. And I know a few things about Prince Charles that you may not know. I mean, you know.
I'm sure you do.
Well, first, let's get the important thing out first. Okay. Prince Charles, on his left buttock, has a big brown mole. So thank God we've gotten that cleared up, and we can move on. Now, there have been a story first in the London Sun, a newspaper, that the Queen of England in this year, in 2021, we're speaking about, will abdicate. She will be 95 years old. Now, that doesn't mean she's going to do it. It's not been verified. Her mother, the Queen Mother, you know, actually lived every day of the 20th century. She was born in 1900 and lived to 2002. She didn't quite make her 102nd birthday. Now, so the Queen may go on and live on, and we wish her the best. Prince Philip is in more or less hiding out now at Sandringham. The last time he went out, he was 97 and he had a car accident, and he shouldn't have been driving. He's got all those drivers, but all those chauffeurs, I should call them. But he's, shall we say, retired. And he'll soon be 100. He's a few years older. Now, Prince Charles, 71 years old, he once said, "Do you know, I have spent all of my life waiting for my mother to die." Oh. Now, he didn't mean that he wanted the mother to die, but he was in the same position that Queen Victoria was. Queen Victoria, she was born in 1819 and she became queen in 1837. Well, she stuck around to 1901. And then when Edward VII came in, he had a bit too much weight on him, you know. he once checked into the Ritz Hotel in Paris and got stuck in the bathtub. So that's a little, but he had a short reign, and because Queen Victoria took it up. So it appears to be the Queen Victoria, Edward VII, Queen Elizabeth, and Prince Charles are sort of repeating the same thing that the Victoria, the mother lives forever and then gives the throne to the son. But the Camilla Parker Bowles will not be queen. They
What
will
will she be?
Well, they will call her something else. They would have called Princess Diana queen, but they will not. I probably has to do with the divorce. I don't know. They don't call it First Lady. They may just call her the Queen Consulate or something like that. We don't know, but not. They've made it clear they will not call her queen. And but as I said, Princess Di would have been called queen. Now, there are things going on there. A lot of things going on in Charles' life. He's had a most unusual life, and the latest polls showed that the presentation of him in the crown has sort of alienated a lot of people again. Prince Charles really fell out of favor during the time of his divorce from, that
Yes.
already. And the latest poll that I read showed that 39% of the people of England want him to be king when his mother dies. That is, if she ever does die. And 48% want Prince William to be king. And the rest of the people want no kings at all. So, and there is a lot of talk in London that the Queen will go directly to Prince William, who is very popular with the British people. And there's also a theory by some people in England that the Queen does not have the right to pass over Charles to give the throne to William. So that's it's all undecided. I still think the Queen might hang in there for for a long time to come. Now, I've written a lot about Charles over a period of time. I just want to share some fun facts with you.
Okay.
Now, his son, Harry, and his wife have settled in Los Angeles. Prince Charles once said, if he had not been linked in royalty to England, you know what city he said he wanted to live in America? San Francisco.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, he said that he would want to have a home in San Francisco. And he left out England, and then he said a summer home in Sydney outside, in down under in Australia. But he said he would make his permanent residence in San Francisco. And it's sort of a strange life that he's had because he's lived in, I'm going to talk personally now. Don't ask me how I know all these things, but I have a way of knowing these things.
We know that, Darwin.
He first, when he went to Gordonstown, and he started hanging out with other younger people. He'd been cut off from people his own age for a long time. And then in the showers, he discovered that he was the only young man in there who was circumcised. None
Now,
of the
that's
other.
very interesting.
And apparently he didn't like it at all. And he hated his mother, he said, for years, because other, British boys tend not to be circumcised. And he was the only one in the shower that was. And he was seriously, seriously angered over that and said he would never have a son of his circumcised. So we've got that.
Okay, I have to add something here. And I don't think that my son and his wife ever listened to my recordings, but
of course they
she's
do.
Italian. She's Italian, and she did not circumcise one of the triplets, the male. And I was very surprised. I had nothing to say about it. No one asked me, because they're not Jewish. There was no bris, but it wasn't circumcised. And I think it's because her brother and other males in her family weren't. My son is. So that's interesting to think how he looks at his father and he's not circumcised. All right, I'll stop now, but it's a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, but it's such interesting, Charles, a lot of his life has
Darwin, stop. Are you circumcised? As long as we're getting into this.
I will never discuss such a thing. I don't. How would I know? How
for that one were you?
How in the world would I know the answer to that?
What do you mean? Are you? You would know if you're circumcised.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, Darwin.
But anyway, back to Charles. Charles, in what he started doing, he did some very strange things when he was a young man. For example, when he was in the university, he sometimes he would dress up in drag and go out on dates with cadets. He said that was not any sexual overture. He just did it for the hell of it. So that was sort of see, I told you I will try to tell you things about Charles you didn't know. Now, he also, he was a great believer in British by British. He was one of the leaders of by British, meaning by your American made would be like British made. But he made one exception. He would only wear American jockstraps. He made that one exception to by British. See,
hysterical.
have you heard these stories before?
No, and I don't even know what does a jockstrap look like? It's like, I guess I'm thinking about it. So it's not underwear, it's just holds the genitals,
holds up
right?
the baggage.
I see.
Usually worn by athletes.
I see.
Dan Verity will tell you all about it. What?
Wait, do people demand, you've gotten me into this, so you're just gonna have to let me ask some questions. So do men wear jock straps and underwear, or one, they don't like underwear and they just like jock straps?
No, the jock straps are usually worn in like athletic endeavors or posing for physique pictures. Of course, now they take off their jock straps, but back in the olden days. And it's just give you a bit of added protection that, and for example, I worked in movies, and men were like Ronald Reagan would often be seen in his underwear, like in Voice of the Turtle. And one day Reagan rushed onto the set, and he didn't put on the jockstrap. You're supposed to wear jockstraps underneath he wore boxer shorts in the movie. And then he had to lean forward to untie his shoe, and then something fell out of the opening. And believe it or not, someone is rounding up embarrassing pictures taken where something got exposed, like
God.
Rock Hudson was on the beach with Doris Day in Pillow Talk, and he didn't wear the jock strap and things fell out. So someone is doing a movie now of all those hidden things that got revealed that were not supposed. But
so getting back to Charles with the jock strap, right? He wanted American-made jock straps. Do they make them in England?
Yes, of course they do. Yes, of
so
course.
Why did he do that?
Well, that's one of the mysteries of Charles. Now, I was in Los Angeles and he came, and a lot of people don't know that, but his all-time dream girl, Barbara Streisand. And
really?
Yes, and when I was there at the same time he was, and rumors spread. In fact, I wrote a story about this, that they had an affair, and
really?
apparently he has collected every record that Barbara Streisand is. I mean, it's just a love affair between him and Barbara Streisand.
Oh,
and I mean, these are little things that people don't know about Charles. Now, one thing, of course, on one position he took, I'm in total disagreement. You know I would be, but he thinks boys and girls in school should be separated and given
Oh, you're kidding.
different, for example, when young girls might study more feminist studies or, I mean, it's an old-fashioned concept, but
Yeah.
in many ways, he may be an old-fashioned boy. Now, unfortunately, have you seen some of The Crown?
Yeah, I saw some. I don't watch that very much, but
Yeah.
I have
Well,
seen some.
it's people were sort of getting over the Princess Di scandal, and now the latest poll showed that he's portrayed in a very unattractive way
Yes.
in this, and it's causing his popularity to fall off once again because it's dredging up all of the things that lowered his that lowered his popularity in the first place. And now the actor who is playing him, Josh O'Connor, he didn't want the role. But one of the reasons he got the role was because of his ears. Now I have perfect ears, but you know, Prince Charles looks like he can take flight, and Josh O'Connor has these big ears. At one time, Prince Charles flew to New York to meet with 2 or 3 plastic surgeons to have work done on his ears, but decided not to go through with it. Anyway, Josh got
Well,
the
wait,
role.
let me answer your question if I saw The Crown. I'll tell you what I did recently see. I saw the National Geographic, they did a thing with Diana and she spoke in this. Did you see that one?
Yes.
That was wonderful. And that definitely would have put the British they'd be very upset with him because she suffered terribly.
Well, she did. And also he was, as the Prince of Wales, when they went somewhere, he thought people would be looking at the future King of England. And she just took all the breath, the oxygen in the air. And that, of course, caused resentment. That has, it's like 2 movie stars who get married. Take Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. One star can rise faster than the other and be more adored. And even though you can be man and wife, apparently, if you're in the same profession, well, that's the whole point of the movie, the 4 times a star is born. You know, the husband goes down as the wife rises. So that causes resentment. I don't know if you and Bill had that kind of resentment. You both?
No, we really didn't. No, I always held him up because I thought he was so fantastic, and he always held me up because I guess he thought I was so good. So we never had that.
That's my view of what I saw of the relationship, but it doesn't always work that way, and it certainly didn't work that way with Prince Charles. And I still call her Lady Di. I mean, Princess Di.
You know, we haven't talked very much about Camilla, but since you're talking about him, so she doesn't have that problem, does she? She's willing just to be his wife, and that's okay.
Yes, you see, if Princess Di could still be there today, if she had just followed the rule of yesterday, which is you marry a King of England, and he'll do his duty and give you a child or 2. You've got to pass on, you know, the kingship or the queenship. And, you know, Henry VIII had people killed, women killed who didn't bear him a male heir. He never got one, by the way. There was something wrong with him, I think. And then you let your husband carry on his affairs. I mean, that was, I'll be very blunt. I can't tell you how I know all these things, but Queen Elizabeth overlooked a lot of Prince Philip's affairs.
I see.
And she even allegedly told people, she said, I don't expect fidelity from him. I expect loyalty. I don't know if all women have that point of view, but I know
Did
they do.
she ever have affairs?
I in this brief time, that's a long. I'll
Okay.
bring that story up to you one day.
Okay.
Uh, now, for example, the reason I knew a lot about Prince Philip is I used to have a dear friend. She was very famous at one time, an actress called Patricia Pearden. She first appeared on Life magazine cover in 1942 when she started on Broadway in Junior Miss, and she made movies with Katharine Hepburn. She was always mostly a stage actress. Well, she had an affair with Prince Philip. So she gave me many stories about Prince Philip, some of which I can't. Well, I'll tell you privately, but that was a wonderful when I really began to find out about Prince Philip. And he was gone for a long time in his life and in her life when he cruising the world. And there's one picture that I have where he is off with his arm around this girl and maintaining an 8-foot distance. Queen Elizabeth is there looking on. I have, by the way, I have quite a few pictures of the embarrassing pictures of the royal family. I'll have to share them with you one day. Are we? Can you hear me?
I can. You're coming in loud and strong.
All right, I'll tell you. Anyone now can look at a frontal nude of Prince Charles. All you have to do is surface the web. And where that happened, he was staying at the Carlton Hotel. Have you seen it?
No.
Well, he was staying there years ago, and he came out on the balcony in the nude, but there was a yacht stationed away with those long focus lens. And so they got the first nude of Prince Charles. Prince Andrew did something very weird. He was up in Canada and pulled off his shorts and ran nude across a pond, and there were 18 cameramen there, but there are no known nude pictures of Prince Edward, none.
Huh.
But there are nudes of Prince Harry taken in Las Vegas at that wild party. So some people collect pictures of nudes of the House of Windsor. You got to really watch it today because I tell you, it's like this film coming out. Leonardo DiCaprio made a film in which there was nudity, but people took then secret pictures of him. And Playgirl, the magazine now, defunct, was going to run them, and he filed a suit. But these films of stars caught, you see, like in the 40s and 50s, they didn't do total nudity. And so these were just accidents that occurred. But it was, you've got to, if I can find it, if it comes out, you've got to see that film with Ronald Reagan. And he flubbed also in this movie. I found out his favorite word when he flubbed the line was, "God damn it." So they have him saying, "God damn it," 8 times in this coming movie. You got to watch yourself these days about.
Darwin, I always get started with you so soon, and there are people that maybe don't even know who, that you write for Boomertimes once a month. It's Darwin Porter, and you can find all his books. He probably has 50, but he has a lot of them, and you can read them. They're better. They're better than anything you've ever read. You just have to get them and go to the Boomertimes. You'll see his articles, and then their website is Blue Moon.
Blood
Moon. I'm
Moon.
sorry. I always say Blue Moon, right?
You love the song.
Moon. I know it's the Blue Moon.
Is that song you fell in love? You were probably
that's what happened.
falling in love to it.
So it's Blood Moon. And is that .com?
Yeah, .com.
No, it's bloodmoonproductions.com.
Bloodmoonproductions.com.
Yeah.
Okay, bloodmoonproductions.com. Go there. Yeah, I see it here now in your article. Bloodmoonproductions.com. You need to really go there. You'll see all the books that he's written. You'll see interviews. You'll see so many things. It's we're so privileged to have Darwin Porter come on and do this. They have a beautiful home, Magnolia House. I've just seen the movie that you sent me. I mean, your house is so mysterious. It fit that so perfectly. So I certainly appreciate that you come on our show, Darwin. I know you have so many other things to do, but we do appreciate every minute of it.
Well, don't repeat any of the things I told you about Prince Charles, okay?
I learned a lot about jockstraps this morning and circumcision too. You still owe me that. Bill was circumcised. Now that's interesting. He came from a poor Catholic family. He was circumcised because it was really a healthy thing to do, actually.
Well, there's a debate. This is a whole.
Oh, is there a debate?
Oh, there's a debate today. Oh, yes. They're writing books about it now. It's a very controversial subject today.
Is sex better? Maybe they say sex is better without being circumcised. I don't know.
Well,
we'll have to get into this sometime, Darwin.
You want to talk about that someday?
Okay, let's do that. To be circumcised or not, to be or not, right?
Well, I could talk about that because many young people today are having to make a decision when they're parents in 1947, all American boys were getting circumcised. Not all, but many. Yeah. And now it's a very controversial subject. Particularly, there's been trouble in New York where little babies have been infected when the human mouth is used in certain Jewish rabbis. They use the human mouth for the operation and all sorts of things. So it's a very controversial subject now.
So let's do an article on it sometime. That is a good idea.
Yeah, you really want that? Well, I can do it. I've had.
And you can name a couple of them. I mean, I don't know if you could put in what you just said, about the future king. I mean, I don't know if it's okay. They can't be mad at you, can they?
Well, I mean, about Prince Charles. Well, Prince Charles has been written about a lot. I know a great deal of things there was nothing that I said that would libel him. I'm only reporting what has been reported by people who, shall I say, knew him as David knew Bathsheba. I mean, Charles had been around a long time. In 71 years, you worked Tennessee called it work the waterfront. You worked the waterfront in 71 years of living. And also, he was highly desirable. If you're going to be the future king of England, you will not lack companions.
Well, let me go back to Barbara Streisand. Was he single at the time? Was she not single? Could he have pursued that?
I was hoping he would marry her. I would think that would be Prince Charles
that would be
marrying
fabulous.
Barbara Streisand. By the way, on this actor, Josh O'Connor, who plays Prince Charles, he has very strange. I was finding he was part Irish, part English, part Scottish, but he had great-grandmother who was a Sephardic Jew. So he had a very unusual combination to be Prince Charles, and he feels, he said he feels sorry that he's aroused a sort of animosity toward Prince Charles. That was not his aim, but the polls are showing that people are very upset now with Prince Charles. And,
well, let me just ask you a question, but I think if they had handled Harry a little differently, it would have been better, because that was just another smack, I think.
Yes, it was. And I think that has a lot to do with Prince William's wife.
Yes.
The wife just did not get along. But after these new film deals that Prince Harry and Meghan are making in Hollywood, they're signing with Disney World, they're going to make millions. So they have found a lucrative job and they're going to be doing podcasts and endorsements. And so they will not be poor, you know, and Los Angeles probably was the town for them. Because of the money-making deals, and apparently they're living in vast luxury. They're a little upset that they can't go out more, and they just don't know when they'll return to England. They have a lovely home there, but only servants are living there, and they don't know when they'll go back. But
Does the Queen have, but doesn't she still have a relationship with Harry?
yes, she does. We're running out of time.
We're running out of time.
Yeah,
oh my
because
God.
she said, he's my son and I will always love him. Great Queen.
Grandson.
And a great Anita, and good luck with this getting through this year and another year to come and many more to come.
I
Bless
learned
you.
so much from you. Goodbye, everybody. This is
Goodbye.
Darwin Porter. Don't forget him.
Goodbye.
He is so, and you look so good, Darwin. You're getting better as the years pass.
Oh, come on. You tell that to all the boys.
And then I will have to talk privately about that movie you made. Wow, all those people, they were gorgeous. I did ask you a question, and we'll talk about that at a later point, because I love that movie. Anyway, thank you for being with us.
Adios.
Adios.